means a period of testing or trial and probation. Some parables of the number 40 are, let's start with Moses. Moses spent 40 days and nights on Mount Sinai to receive and write God's law on 2 different occasions. He also lived in Egypt for 40 years, plus in a desert 40 years before God let Moses lead his people out of slavery. And there's Noah. God had Noah build an ark, and it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. And then Jonah was a prophet and told the ancient city Nineveh their city would be destroyed because of the sins they were doing for 40 days. And that's just some of the number 40 in the Bible. There's a lot more. Well, there's 146 total about the number 40 in the Bible. Do you guys know what the ARK means? Yes. When we do something nice to another person, we are showing kindness. Being kind makes us feel good. Helping others that are in need is also showing kindness. A kind word or smile makes other people happy, and we have a better day. God is happy when we help other people, and that makes me very happy. Dan, will you read today's scripture?
Then the king will say to those at his right hand, "Come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?" And the king will answer them, "Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these who are members of my family, you did it to me." So can everybody do something nice for someone today? Yeah? Do one nice thing for somebody today, okay? Aww. Okay, have fun at Sunday school.
Well, good morning. Good morning. We all partied out with all the graduation parties and everything yesterday, and we had in our congregation we had Maddie Payne graduate. Oh, I'm hearing things. Had Maddie Payne graduate. They're on a trip this morning, so they're not here this morning. We do have a nice Bible for her as a gift, so we'll do that next Sunday when they're here. So, Zig Ziglar. Anybody heard of Zig Ziglar before? Yeah. Zig Ziglar once said, he said many things, but was a famous author and motivational speaker. But he said, you can get anything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want in life. And that statement is so true. It's true today, and it's true because there's a lot of people that need kindness in this world. A lot of people that are bitter. There's a lot of people that are, frankly, actually a little bit scared about what's going on in the world. And so they need acts of kindness. They need things to help them to feel better through things. But did you know that there's a number of organizations today that actually are out there on missions trying to help people through acts of random kindness? In fact, there's a company or a organization that was formed by a student at Purdue University, dropped out of school, and he started a program called Acts of Random Kindness Project and Acts of Random Kindness Now. And that group of college students, there's 4 or 5 and sometimes 6 or 8, traveled the country in a van and randomly perform acts of kindness to people. On the Today Show, they featured the founder of this group. So let's take a look at that interview real quick. Drew, could we have the first video?
kindness, and 5 friends traveled 6,000 miles this summer to do nice things for strangers around the country. These gentlemen would like to give you 2 flowers. One flower is for you, and the other is for you to pass on to someone else. These 5 friends, Alex, Dalton, Ted, Jesse, and Jake, are giving flowers through a nonprofit called ARK Project Now as a way to spread acts of random kindness. While in San Francisco, the team hangs out with a group of kids at the Willie Mays Boys and Girls Club at Hunters Point. After getting to know each other, they surprise everyone with personal gifts. And we want to thank you guys for that. The crazy thing about this trip is we're set out to inspire epidemic of kindness. For the people we've met have been so much more of an inspiration to us to do what we do. With each mile on the road and each smile given, the guys hope that each simple act of generosity leads to many more. Great job, those guys.
Acts of Random Kindness Project, traveling the country. In fact, they were fairly close to us. They went through Omaha and performed some kindness there and on up to Sioux Falls, right through Sioux City. So other organizations like that formed, but they're not quite as organized as this group of college students has been in performing these acts of random kindness. They all have one thing in common, though. They're out to change the world. Out to change the world through acts of random kindness. Sound familiar? I sure hope so. We've been doing it long before a student at Purdue thought of it. We've been doing it a long time since we've been formed as the ARK United Methodist Church. So I have a question for you. How kind are you? What is your kindness quotient? How kind can you be to other people? What are some things that you have done for other people that you've done without asking for any kind of thank you or any kind of recognition? When's the last time you did something even for your family? Got a blanket for somebody, or washed the dishes, or made the bed, or did something that wasn't expected? You surprised someone in your family. We actually had a situation like that when Brian was, our kids were growing up. Brian would sometimes, not often, but clean his room and then go get us and try to see our act of surprise that he's cleaned his room without being asked and everything. So that was always kind of fun when he surprised us like that. But have you done anything like that for anybody? For any family member? Think about school or where you work. Is there somebody there that's particularly shy that you don't talk to or that nobody talks to? Or is there somebody there that's kind of grumpy? Nobody talks to this person because they are grumpy. Have you tried to be nice to them? Kindness does not have to be an expected surprise. Simple holding open the door to somebody or a big smile and a good morning to someone can actually make your day, make their day. I know a bad comment or a bad thing happening in the morning can ruin your day, but how about a good thing happening? Can that make their day for somebody? What have you done to make the day for somebody else? Kind hearts are also quietly kind. Do you let people that are traveling in your car, do you let them cut in front of you? Do you see a single mom with 3 kids when you're standing in line somewhere? Do you let them move up in the line to go ahead of you because they've got a lot of things going on? It doesn't have to be for recognition. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Have you picked up a trash can that's rolling around in the street that your neighbor is unaware of and you put the trash can back in their yard? Kind people need to express that every day to someone else. Even something as simple as a handwritten thank you note. I know in today's email climate, we often tend to just throw something together on email and send it off, but you can make somebody's day by today writing a handwritten thank you note to someone. Now, at church, I know you're especially kind to people at church. We We are a family sometimes. We feel like a family, and so we feel particularly generous sometimes at church. When we do the collection after the sermon, we're not quite as generous as we could be, but we are very generous people. And so it's easy to be nice to people in church. That you don't know that somebody you meet in the entryway or someone sitting in the chair behind you may really need a simple act of kindness from you. May really need that big smile and that good morning for you. Paul writes that when we have the opportunity to help anyone, we should do so. But those people in church we're very familiar with, and they're the easy ones. It's easy to be kind in church. But what about this challenge? Have you ever tried to be nice to your enemies? Have you ever tried to be nice or thought about being nice to, I don't know, the boss that fired you or the friend that betrayed you, somebody that really hurt you? You ever thought about being nice to them or doing something nice to them? Mercy and grace is the biggest gesture of kindness that we can come up with. Showing mercy and grace. And that is particularly true with people that are, quote, our enemies, or people that we just as soon ignore and not pay attention to. Paul equates the two. Paul says that to be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God forgave you. Jesus wrote and said in Luke 6, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. If you love only the people who love you, what good is that? A simple, or love your enemies, do good to them, and lend them without hoping to get anything back. Then you will have a great reward, and you will be children of the Most High God, because He is kind even to people who are ungrateful and full of sin. Show mercy, just as your Father shows mercy. Well, we've covered kindness and how to be kind to people in public and people that we don't know and people that we do know. We've talked about being kind to people in church. We talked about being kind to enemies. Pretty well covers everyone. People that we know, people that we don't know, people in church, our enemies, being kind to those. Is there anybody else? Yeah, Carol. Oh, very good, but I'll get to that in just a minute. Being kind to ourselves is right. Let's take another look at another video that shows us 20-some ways that we can do acts of random kindness for strangers or people that we do know. So, Drew, if we could cue up.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Aaron here, and welcome to Top Trending. Coming up are some incredible acts of kindness from the true heroes in our society. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we hope to inspire you to pass on the love to everyone that you can. A dog owner wants to share some tennis balls with random strangers so they can share some special moments and bond with man's best friend. The note reads, in loving memory of Phoebe. Please help yourself to a tennis ball for your dog to enjoy. You may wish to pop it back in the box afterwards for another pooch to enjoy as well. Remember to live each moment just like your dog with unconditional love, loyalty, and happiness. After work, this very giving man takes leftover, uneaten bagels and hands them out to hungry people on the streets. They would otherwise go to waste anyway and go to the garbage, so why not share the bagel love? In a burning house, this firefighter risks his life to save a woman's very close feline friend. A friendly neighbor saves a car interior by covering the windows with a trash bag. Also kind enough, he left a little note saying, you left your window open, so I'll put a bag over it to keep your interior dry. Have a great day from your friendly neighborhood Gilligan. In this picture, a Japanese community is working together to save a woman who had fell under the train. Everyone quickly acted together and were able to get her out with minimal injuries. A kind college student notices an elderly woman tired of walking and having to stand all the time. He then gets on his hands and knees in the elevator and makes himself a human bench for her. A man spots a rather large turtle struggling to get across the road. He proceeds to get out of his car and carries this little guy to safety. This man saves a beach dolphin and carries it back into deeper water so it can survive and swim away with his family. This woman is running a marathon with the first place runner winning up to $10,000. Although this woman was in first place, she sacrifices all of the prize money to help this disabled man get a little drink of water. After a power outage, this very giving police officer buys meals for over 20 people after their food had gone spoiled and they could no longer eat it. Another police officer notices that a homeless man didn't have any shoes. Instead of walking by like many other people would do, he was kind enough to spend some of his own money and get him a pair of shoes. This ultimate act of kindness is committed when a stranger leaves some extra change envelope on a vending machine, treating the next person to use it to a snack and a drink of their choice. This Spanish runner informs his opponent that he has not finished the race just yet. He could have just passed him and won himself, but let him go anyway, not to get the cheap win. This very brave police officer handcuffs himself to a suicidal woman, telling her that if she goes, well, he's gonna go along with her. This man desperately needed to catch a train and was running for it, until he spotted this elderly woman. He stopped what he was doing just to help her out with the couple bags she had in her hands. A store owner shared his electricity after Hurricane Sandy. This enabled many people to power up their cell phones and call their loved ones to let them know that they were safe and sound. A stranger donates a full set of tires with an explanation written in these words. "You do not know me, but I saw that you needed some tires for your truck, and I wanted to do something nice for a stranger because one day a stranger did the same for me. The receipt is in the envelope, and all you have to do is go by Warehouse Tire on 3rd Street and ask for Stephen Hodges, and they will be put on for free. All I ask is that one day you do something nice for a complete stranger yourself." Turkish protesters helped a stray dog who was accidentally tear gassed from the riot control. They used water to flush them out and restore the poor dog's sight. This woman buys 2 meals, one for herself and then one for this homeless man. They then sit and enjoy lunch together while they talk about each other's lives. This man notices that it's raining outside and that these elderly women may be parked a little bit too far. He then proceeds to pick up the table umbrella big enough for all of them and escorts them all the way there. And that is going to do it for all the random acts of kindness for today, guys. If you want to continue the train, then maybe...
I remember the one about the policeman buying the shoes for the homeless guy. That was in the news. But there's 20 ideas of things that can be done. There's a gazillion more things that can be done. This acts of random kindness thing seems to have really taken off. It seems to have exploded everywhere else but here. Sometimes I think when we talk about doing acts of random kindness, we let life get in the way. Sometimes we are in a hurry to catch a train or to go somewhere, and we don't do what some of these people did in the video. I think we need to be challenged to do more and get back to our mission statement. So let's take a look at a clip from the movie Evan Almighty. That's where the whole thing started. So, Drew?
So, you're really him, aren't you?
You want more proof? I haven't done the pillar of salt thing in a while.
That's all right, I believe you. I don't understand why you chose me.
You want to change the world, son. So do I.
What? Why an ARK? I mean, that's like flood territory. You wouldn't do that again. You wouldn't do that. Would you do that?
Let's just say that whatever I do because I love you.
Well, then you have to understand that this whole building an ARK thing is really not part of my plans here. I need to settle into my house. I need to make a good impression at work. What?
Your plans.
What are you talking? We're talking about an ARK, right? I mean, an ARK? An ARK is huge. I don't even know where I would begin.
Well, I hear that a lot. People want to change the world, don't know how to begin. You want to know how to change the world, son? One act of random kindness at a time. Build the ARK. I'll tell you what. You build it, I'll fill it. And if anybody asks, tell them flood's coming. Oh, and you might need this.
Okay, so what do? I grab the wood. Oh, okay. You know, that's just cruel. Do you see him? I don't see him.
That's how it all began. I think we have truly kind of gotten away from that a little bit. We've forgotten our mission statement. Our mission statement is to create disciples of Jesus Christ through acts of random kindness that changes the world one at a time. That's our mission statement. So I think it's time for a challenge for this church. All these other organizations have taken off. They've done pretty well. They've gotten around. They've got some assets that perhaps we don't have, but they didn't have any when they started. But let's show them what we're made of and what we can do. I believe we can change their little community here drastically through acts of random kindness by following a few steps, by doing a few things. I call it, or the worship design team calls it, a 40-day challenge to keep in line with our number 40 of this week. So we have a 40-day challenge ahead of us. And what we'd like for you to do is to perform one act of random kindness, one simple act of random kindness a day for 40 days. And that's not hard. One. You can do more if you like, but only one. And then we have some cards back there if we can get the guys to pass them out. We've got some business-like cards that will fold in half, and it's got our church logo on there, our mission statement of what Acts of Random Kindness stands for, what ARK stands for, and Noah's Ark then off to the side of that. That's a little business card. Now, it's not a business card in the fact that it has phone numbers on it and how to get a hold of you. You're not giving away that. This is something that you keep or that you hold on to. And as you perform that act of random kindness, write it down on this card. Just identify it. Put a little thing in there. I held the door for a lady today at the grocery store. Or I bought 4 new tires for somebody in their truck. Or you could be like Justin and he'll buy the whole truck for somebody. But write that down. Put it on a card and keep track for the next 40 days what your act of random kindness is per day. It could be the same act of random kindness every day, but to 40 different people. You have a lot of flexibility on that. So we want you to wake up in the morning and think about acts of random kindness and your 40-day challenge. But then we also have a magnet here that goes on your refrigerator. When you get up in the morning, and if you can still see the front door of your refrigerator, and you've got a space for this, put this on your refrigerator that you can see every day, and it reminds you of our 40-day challenge. So we have the magnet, refrigerator magnet, and the card that you can keep track of your kindness on. When you get out of bed in the morning, think about what can I do to make a difference in somebody else's life? What can I do today to make a difference? You will find that as you're looking for ways to be kind to people, after 40 days, or probably after 5 days, it's going to become you. It will be a part of you. You will become that kind person. You will become kindness. It'll change your life when you have that kind of effect on people. Now, when you set off on a mission or for any challenge, you typically are going to need some tools. You're going to need some tools. So we have some suggested tools that you're going to need. And Glenn, when you think about it, the only thing you really, really need in life is duct tape and WD-40. Right? Use the duct tape. If something is moving and it's not supposed to move, use duct tape. If something is supposed to move and it doesn't, use WD-40. Do you know what WD-40 stands for? Yes. How many don't know what it stands for? Maybe more like it. WD-40 was formulated in 1953. It hasn't changed its formula since then. It was made in 1953. It is a secret formula. It's kind of like the Kentucky Fried Chicken and Coca-Cola formula. Nobody knows what's in there. Nobody knows what's in it. Sorry to say, there is no fish oil in it. In fact, they have a big warning on their website about not using it on your skin. Like petroleum, fish oil, common thing. 1950, one or two that would on in the area on different. All those displays. This is water away. You can water times are for him. This particular that's 40 times they came up. Only 40 company. Anybody else? I always thought it was somebody who owned the own company. However, just 3 and a handful of other lubricants. Very small. 80-40, everybody for everything. Now, our tool remind a challenge. 80-40 change what W is for. So you are warm disciples. 40 days disciples with lunch. So when you're ready 40 and you need to do the 40. They started out by the chemical 1950 in case you wanted to. About everybody, family, people know, but got one. That's our being selves. You challenge when you start self has got to really grumpy. Do the things that you don't think that love, because God about you knows that you knows have loves you. Promise broken. Can you bless think or how one? He's got that faith in you. Knows your likes to forgive. He knows you to love someone really lovable to you. He knows and he loves you because. Your worth, what? It's pretty good.